Oh guys, we have come to the final lesson in this True SMC Trading course series, and I'll say I'm very glad and happy to take you guys through this entire course from beginning to this point. This doesn't mean this is the last time we will be meeting, because I will, as always, deliver for you guys some of the most exciting lessons, updates, tutorials on this channel. So just subscribe. If you are not subscribed to Accurate Pips, just subscribe to the channel, and don't forget, turn on that bell notification icon so that anytime Accurate Pips release a new lesson, you'll be notified that hey, that channel called Accurate Pips have released a new lesson. Go watch it. All right, so in this part of the entry series on the True SMC Trading concept, okay, we are going to be looking at the flip entry types. So in the previous series, we look at the single candle order block mitigation entry type. We look at the chalk with inducement and chalk without inducement entry type. So in today's lesson, we are going to be looking at the flip entry models. Okay, so just like the chalk, we have two types of the flip entry models, and we are going to be looking at that right now. What happening is that either tomorrow, Sunday, or Monday, I'm going to be having live session with you guys. So we discuss everything, we answer questions, and then we have let me say deep dive into certain things that maybe you didn't understand along the way. So do well to be on that live session, because it's going to be powerful. um don't miss it. That's what I can say. Don't miss it. Okay, any live session that I'll organize after this, make sure you don't miss them. And we will be having live analysis as well on selected days. It will be announced for you guys on the page anytime I'm going to be doing that. Okay, so there is nothing to worry about. So now let's get started with today's lesson. So first, as usual, I'm going to be showing you a demonstration over here. So we have the flip entries. Okay, I try as much as possible to make everything so clear to you guys, so understandable, so simple to understand. Okay, so guys, basically before I come to the diagrams here, basically let me just introduce few things. Okay, so basically we will look at the criteria you follow before looking for a buy or a sell, using this particular entry type, which we call the flip entry type. Okay, note that in actual sense we can basically use um, three entry types. That is the chalk entry, the flip entry, and the sweep entry. Okay, and the sweep entry is the one I still refer to as the single candle order block. Okay, and that one is applicable when market takes out the liquidity, and that is also apply within the flip and the chalk. Okay, so when the sweep happens, that is when we say chalk without inducement, and in the flip we call it flip without inducement. Okay, but without chalk, and without the sweep, then that is where we need to look for inducement. That's why we use the chalk with inducement and flip with inducement theories to do that. Okay, so now let's look at the two ways we can use the flip entry types. Okay, just like we had for the chalk, the flip also basically have two types, and that is the flip with inducement, as you can see here, and then the flip without inducement, which is here. Okay, so we will come there. I'll come and explain that also. First, let's start with the flip with inducement. Okay, flip with inducement. Now anytime you hear the word look for inducement before you make an entry, then it should automatically let you know that on this particular zone that we tap onto on the higher time frame, for instance here on the 15 minutes from this chart here, as we tap on this, it means the reason why we are looking for inducement before we make an entry is that this guy, this low, after it was broken, there was a candle close below it. There was what? A candle close below it. This is the main reason why we say look for inducement before you make an entry. But if there was a sweep, okay, for instance here, anytime they said you can make entry without inducement, it means the previous low was swept. And when we say sweep, it means what? It means we close, after we tap into this, we close below this high, this low here for this diagram. Okay, we close below that low. You get a point? Okay, so that is one thing you need to understand. Okay, that is the difference between what you looking for inducement before an entry and you making an entry without looking for hot inducement. That is direct entry without looking for hot inducement. This is the difference between entries with inducement and entries without inducement. Whether it is chalk or flip is the same thing you need to consider. It is the same criteria we are looking at. Okay, in single candle order blocks, it is there as well. If the sweep the single candle order block is a sweep, then you don't need inducement. But where it is the normal type of order block where we have the whole candle body, then you need an inducement. All right, so now let's explain this. So here we can see that we are this is our higher time frame, 15 minute time frame, and we are now on a 15 minute POI, that is a demand, preparing to buy. Okay, so as we tap into this guy, we then switch into 1 minute to get an idea of what the market is doing. So we can see 1 minute structure also forming. You know, the structure is what it happens on all time frame. It's the same across all time frame. It the same behavior. Then we broke this low, we tap into the 15 minute zone. Now remember, instead of you know once price tap, we begin to look for change of character, right, so that we can make an entry. But in this case, instead of a change of character, we can see price did not break this, because this is our last valid high. Instead of price breaking it, give us a change of character, price didn't break. Price rather tap into our SMT, that is our smart money trap, okay, which is a supply. So a lot of people begin to begin to sell from here. Okay, so they introduce liquidity into the market, but as the concept, as market know that I have to go up. Okay, I have to go up. So what happens? Market begin to push up, breaks this supply. Then what caused that supply to break? It created a demand here. That demand is what caused price to break the supply. Now price need to return either into this demand or this POI, and this flip with inducement is two types of scenarios that we are looking at. Okay, why? Because one price can break this, form an inducement above here, give us a high, break this, give us a high, then now push and tap into this demand and go up. But now if inducement is not formed here, okay, then that is where this concept, the second concept of flip with inducement, comes in. This is very important for you guys, so take note of this. Okay, so in this first scenario, this is serving as our decisional POI, because there is an inducement here, so that this becomes our decisional or POI, and this becomes our extreme POI. Okay, so there's something I didn't teach you guys called engineering liquidity. I'll come and do a video on it later on. I can't promise the day, but surely there'll be video on engineering liquidity. Okay, so I won't talk much about that to confuse anybody. Okay, that's why I don't use it in when I'm teaching. I don't mark it, okay, because I know I've not taught it, but I'll come and teach it later on as one of the random videos. All right, so if we have inducement form here, this becomes our decisional POI 50-50. We see the price cancel, we see single candle order block or any other confirmation, okay, then we can make our entry from here. Now if this is your 4-hour POI, then that means this structure is your 15-minute, okay, entry structure. Okay, now when we come here, because price didn't form inducement over here, it means this becomes our inducement. The SMT demand becomes our inducement. Okay, once we didn't have liquidity above like here, it means this demand is an SMT, just like this supply. So we will not buy here. If you buy here, the thing is you become part of the liquidity. So we wait for price to what? To break, and maybe if there we have, let's say, decisional B here, we take that trade. But if we don't have decisional B, we wait for what? The extreme order block, and then we make our entry from there based on single candle or just direct or since we have taken the liquidity, you can still just take a direct entry. But mostly, as I said, I just love the single candle order block mitigation, further confirmation or confluence. Once I have it, I have high hope. Okay, it doesn't mean it is 100%, but it gives me like high hope. It gives me high probability to take my entry, to make my entry. This type, once I see single candle order block and already we've taken inducement, I just open. Once that close, I just open my trade. So the next candle opens and we move. You get it? Okay. So now this is the concept. So you don't buy here directly. You only buy here directly if we have something like this. But if you have something like this, don't buy here. You wait for this. And then don't forget, I told you sometimes, let's say all the zones here are mitigated. Then if price just swept here, okay, take liquidity of the inducement and not close candle below it, then you can just look for a single candle order block and you take your buy from there. If not, then you just look for what? A zone that has not been mitigated and you make your entry. Okay, here also price can just sweep here and then give you a single candle. You can take your buy from there. So now let's look at the flip without inducement. Okay, without inducement. So today I'm not going to make this, I'm trying my very best not to make this video very long today. Okay, the previous ones have been very long, so let's see if we can beat that time. All right, so in this case, what happened is price swept the low. Okay, I've talked about this several times about sweeping lows. Okay, so if let's say this is your first video you are watching on this channel, please go to the playlist and then watch all the other videos, because you need to understand the concept from the beginning. So watch from lesson 1 right down to this lesson. It is worth it. Okay, and it's free of charge. I have poured out a whole lot of information here for you guys for free. Okay, so go watch it, check it out, and don't forget, subscribe to the channel, very important, and smash the like button. Can you guys give me some hashtag true SMC trading concept, hashtag smart money concept, hashtag accurate picks in the comment? Okay, give me that hashtag, okay, in the comment, very important. Okay, so now let's see here. Once price swept here, okay, that liquidity means liquidity have already been grabbed, so we don't need inducement to be grabbed again before we make an entry. So in this case, once this SMT supply that gives us this demand is broken above, we just wait for price to reverse into this zone. We look for our single candle order block on the entry time frame, in this case, which is the 1 minute, and then we make our entry. Okay, we take our entry like that. Okay, if this guy is broken, then we look at the what extreme order block and make our entry. Okay, so these are the two types of what entry criteria that we have. Okay, very important, very important. These are the two. So let me quickly recap all these plenty things that I have talked about. Okay, right. So remember from all the lessons that I've talked about in terms of entries, okay, that after price taps into your higher time frame POI or sweeps the low or high, then we look for change of character on the entry time frame. But this time on this particular one, we are looking for a flip. Okay, so like I'm mentioning the two because I'm trying to tell you that this time we are thinking general, because we are in the market now. We know all the types of entry models, so you are looking out for the two, either the chalk or the flip models. Okay, all right. Why are we doing this now? Let me tell you, the flip doesn't occur most often. It is the chalk that occurs most often, but the flip also occurs. This is why we are learning it, because otherwise every day you will only be looking for chalk and you end up missing entries. Okay, so sometimes when you don't see chalk and you see flip, you can still take your trade. Okay, all right, so that is the most important thing I want you guys to take notice of. All right, so I think we will just go to the chart. Now it is just a reverse thing. I always say this, it's just a reverse. Okay, so for the bullish, okay, for the bullish, now here will not be in the sorry, for the bearish, here where I wrote this thing, what is the name, supply, will now come here. Okay, so it will be like this, it will change this way. Okay, it will now be like this and like this. So supply will now come to the top here, demand will come to the down. You get it? So the same thing occur here. Okay, you see, price created the demand, tap into it, give us that what is the name, supply, and then we get our flip, we tap into the supply, we sell. This is our higher time frame. If we break this one, we take it from the extreme order block. You come here, the same thing. So here too, supply comes here, demand comes here. Okay, so you just forget about the labeling and follow the concept. So we tap into our demand, we form a supply. Okay, but in this case, when price broke the demand, it didn't form an inducement before returning to this supply. So this supply becomes an SMT, liquidity, and our inducement is above it. So we use any of the zone, whether decisional OB or extreme OB, just above that inducement, we tap in and then we sell based on our confirmation criteria. I've talked about them already, so I don't want to repeat myself. If we have a sweep before we tap and into the demand here, then please, the labeling here is supply, but as I said, we are in the reverse, so this is demand. Okay, I just inverted the chart, that is why you are seeing the writings still being the same. Okay, all right, so we tap in, then what happens, we get our demand, tap in, we push, this is SMT, then this low fails, we drop, we tap in, we sell directly based on single candle order block. Why? Because already we have taken the liquidity here. All right, so that is it, guys. That is that. Let me invite this guy so that I can download this down for you guys and send to the page for you. Save, and then save, so that you guys can just take a look at it. Okay, I think I have to correct this thing and resend this one. Okay, Okay, so let me re-download this one. Okay, so I can delete these drawings now. I don't need them again. Now let's come here and let's look at the chart. I think I have this guy. I traded this setup some time ago. Okay, not long ago, because this was the same September. I traded this the same September. Okay, so I'm coming to use it as our example for this particular. So here I got this zone on my H4. Okay, got this zone on my H4 here. Okay, so we tap onto that zone. Immediately we tap onto this zone, what I did was I switched to my 15-minute. Remember this H4, so my 15-minute becomes my what, my entry time frame. So I go down to my 15-minute. Don't worry, this chart is inverted, that's why we are seeing it. This in how they call it, bearish. Okay, when I finish I'll reverse it. I want to use it to explain. I told you I don't want to waste time today, so I use the same this thing to explain both ways. Okay, all right. So here, as you can see, on the 15-minute we tap into our our supply here. Okay, now what are we looking for? We need change of character, right? And where's our last valid pullback? Here. So this is our last valid pullback. So if price break here, this is our potential change of character. The reason why I say we are looking for change of character and not flip is generally that is the most common entry type. So it is when we are looking for it, but that doesn't happen and flip happens, then you go with it. That's why you must have it at the back of your mind that you are looking for the two. Now you can see here, sometimes this flip can happen after this chalk as well. Okay, where we might have our decisional OB. Okay, then instead of price maybe buying from the decisional OB, price failed to buy from there, but it created a flip before it goes down. You can still use this flip criteria to make entry based on that. And then we have the one that what forms before the chalk. Okay, now if let's say what is the name, it forms and then come and break this, that's why we call it flip with chalk. Okay, so take notice of that. So here you can see this is our supply. Okay, this and this is our our demand zone here. Okay, I told you it was a downtrend, that's why I'm mentioning supply like that, because when I analyzed it was a downtrend. I just inverted the chart. So here this was our last distance, so this would have been our actual order block. Okay, but then you see the high was mitigated by this, and as usual we move our this thing to the next distance. So this is our next POI. Okay, our POI. All right. Okay, now this was not our main concern. I'm just asking to identify it for a reason. To us, we are looking for what? We are looking for our chalk so that we can make entry. So let's see what happened. Now look at this. Price taps into our demand here, our SMT demand, and reversed. Okay, now remember, you can see here, this is what? A sweep. So already this guy is a single candle. We have tapped, remember we have tapped on H4. So I can as well, let me go back. So here, I told you guys last time, I can as well scale in from here. Okay, this is our bearish. Okay, so either I'll just mark this guy, sorry, this is a bullish candle. I'll just mark this guy. In this case, this is a bullish candle because I've inverted it. Okay, I'll just mark this guy. Let me change the color. I'll mark this guy, then I'll take my entry. Okay, put my SL just oh wait, I've used the wrong one. The sell. Okay, I think that is it. I have to use this. Everything is inverted, so I can take a sell directly, and first of all target my odd, my chalk as my odd, as my first break even portion. Okay, put my SL just above this guy. If I want to do this, that one I'll go down to 1 minute again, but I don't want to go too much and make the video, maybe some other time I can talk about that. Okay, now this is my first thing. If I go down to 1 minute, I will get this guy somewhere. So mostly I don't go down to 1 minute. All I need is to pick my fib and take 50% of this zone as my entry. So it means my entry will be here. Now what happens is my entry might peak or it might not peak, because this is where the candle will open. The reason why I'm picking the 50% is the area where the inducement is not far from here. If it were, let's say, somewhere here, okay, let's say somewhere here, then that one I can pick my entry from here and still get my required risk to reward ratio. But because of where it is, what I normally do is I take 50% if it is small like this, so that I can get at least my 1:3. When I'm taking this type, at least my lowest RR that I'm looking for is 1:3 on this quick scalp. All right, so let's see what happened. Let's see if we were tapped in. Okay, so if we were where we took the entry first, if that was where we put it, you see that we would have been tapped in, right? Now we're not tapped in, and price came and then tapped into our odd, our SMT. So what I'll do is, let me move this guy to the side. What I'll now do is, okay, I begin to what? Know that we have tapped into supply. Possibility is we can break this high and go up. Okay, good. There is something else I need to talk about. That is, if you get a higher time frame zone, okay, and you come down to the lower time frame, sometimes you can break that zone down and look for other areas within it. I will do that demonstration in another video. Okay, today we are just looking at this, so I'll do that in my subsequent videos. Okay, how to break down zones and make entry based on unmitigated zones within it. All right, okay, so now we have seen that price have rejected here. Okay, so is like something like this. Price went up, came down, rejected. We have not broken this high, so you get a point. So this is a valid pullback in terms of we are bullish here, so it's a valid pullback because this low has been taken. Is that not so? That's what I'm saying. Right now it means the possibility is that we can go up. So if I see something like that, if I was not scaled in and I see something like this, then I have to make decision. One, either I'll cancel my trade or I will minimize my risk. So if I used to risk, let's say 1%, I'll now risk like 0.3% of that 1%. Okay, all right, so let's see. Okay, so price taps back in again. Now this low was taken out. This is showing us a sign that price is what? So yeah, so I'll just be watching my chart. Once I see this low here has taken out, it means price is showing us sign of weakness. Okay, sign of weakness. So what will I do? That is when I'll make final decision on my order. I'll say okay, then I can still put my order in and see if I'll be scaled in, because this is showing me that price can still what? Push down. So if I lose, then it means I've lost a valid entry. Okay, so let's see. Good. So you can see we are tapped in now. You see, don't forget to, I'm doing this because we swept this candle. Okay, the sweep entry model, the single candle. Okay, now once that happens, all I need is, I'm still targeting my chalk. All right, so let's see. But remember, because we have reversed from this SMT, I'm also being very observant and careful. So let's see. Good. Now my confidence is in. From here I can even now get my next zone, because this SMT has been broken. All I need now is, where is my my supply zone? Okay, where is my supply zone? Now let me move this guy a bit away so that we can see. So now this wick took this high, the high of this guy, and has not been mitigated, so we can mark that guy down. So remember, already we are in one trade. As I said, this is where I'm targeting, but my main target is always here, my last previous 15-minute low. Okay, so here means that I'm taking partials. Okay, partials. But then the condition that will be created is what will give me the idea whether I should take my partials or not. Now we've marked, okay, let me change the color here. We've marked this second zone. Okay, mark this second zone. So we are looking that price will what? See, with these things, you need to be very decisive with what you are doing. Okay, because since we don't have, you see, the reason why I didn't take the whole distance, we don't have imbalance. This week has been mitigated by this guy. So it is the upper shadow here that is not mitigated, has swept this guy and closed body below the high of this guy. Okay, so we will use the wick. Now all I need is, whether chalk is broken or not, price can now reverse and I'll take my entry from here. Why? Because already it is a sweep and not a candle close for the main zone. You get the point? So that will be our second entry area. Okay, this will be our second entry, and the target is the same. Okay, not the chalk. This one we are not targeting the chalk. We can maybe run that whole distance, but this is our target. We will take partials somewhere here, okay, on that particular one. But with our first entry, I know you will be like, oh, but they all have the same SL point. Yes, the reason why I put the SL here, this is the previous zone, and this guy just close to it, so adding that few pips is nothing. It's better to be at the safer side than to be stingy with pips and get knocked out. Okay, so let's continue. Okay, so let's see if you'll be tapped in. So we can see price went up. Okay, so I want to show you guys some few things here, but first I want us to know if we will be tapped in or not, then I'll explain what I mean. So okay, let's see. Good. So here we were tapped in, we have been tapped in now. Come in. Let me shift this guy. This is the first entry here. Okay, so let him be there. Now see, still we've not reached our chalk. We've not broken our chalk even yet. Okay, so we are still working with the SMT, and now you can see our second position. Okay, this area here is our POI that we mark. The POI we marked here. Okay, our POI. Okay, so since we tap in, let's see what happened. Let's see whether price went our way. Okay, so now on the first position I can take partial here, or I can decide now confidently not to take partial. Why? Because we have created a change of character. Right now, two things, you have another opportunity. Since change of character have been created, now what do you need to do? You can now look for what? Remember, here was what? Was a sweep. Here was what? Also a sweep. Now we've changed character. So what do we do when we have a sweep and then we change character? We look for our what? Our nearest zone, and this time we don't need to wait for what? Inducement. But if inducement is there, fair enough. So in this case, after the break, this is our valid pullback. Okay, with this particular area here, this, since we are not looking for an inducement, this can be our first or POI, and even we still have a valid pullback here, so it has created an inducement. This will be our decisional POI, and then if you look above, this will be our what? Our extreme POI here. Okay, this guy will be our extreme POI. Now in this case, I'll go with what? My extreme, because I still, this is the time we just broke our what? Our change of character. Despite this inducement here, I don't give a damn about it. All I'm looking for is to make a decision around here. Though this is also still valid, but I want here, because I'm scaling in on 15 minutes and not 1 minute. All right, so what I'll do is, if price comes here and maybe sweeps here and give me a single candle, then I'll take. But if it doesn't give me a single candle, I'll wait for this guy. So let's see what happens. Okay, so price went down, created another inducement here. Okay, taps into our zone and rejected. Sweep this guy. That did it close below that? Yeah, it closed below it. So in a sense, based on our single candle order block, it means we can what? We can make an entry. Is that also? So well, let's make an entry here and let's see. Over here, not on this one exactly, as I said before, this one tap. So where it close, if you want to take the aggressive entry, sorry, so we put our this thing just above the shadow, and our target is here, same area. Mostly it should be the H4 low, but then when I'm dealing with H4 and 15 minutes, I always would like to take my take profits based on my 15-minute previous low or high. Okay, it's very important for you to take notice of that. Okay, so let's see. what happened? Okay, we got tapped in. I won't be surprised if we lose this trade. Aha, lala. So this is a valid loss because it met what your inducement and everything criteria before you even take this trade. Remember, it was even a sweep, but then as I said, when I see these types, I want to take it from here. Okay, so our next focus is this guy. That is my next focus, and then my SL just about. You see, I'm not stingy with SL. You see how I'm not stingy with my SL, because at the end of the day, still my risk to reward ratio should be at least 1:3. But it doesn't mean you should go and give a very big SL, like unnecessary one. No, you just give a briefing room to the trade. That is all. That is all. Let's see if we got tapped in. Okay, so you see, look at this. We have the sweep here. Okay, we sweep that area as well, and then what do we see? Price taps in, and then we begin our journey. Okay, as I said, we begin our journey. I'll do this guy. Okay, so that is our POI area. Okay, so now we have 3 trades running, because this one we've taken partial, we are on break even. This guy here, let me see, did we reach the partial? Yeah, so it means we've taken partial on this guy also from this area. Okay, and this guy will take partial on it when price breaks this low here. Okay, so let's see what price did. And then as you can see, price broke here, we took partials. Okay, now let's see. Now whilst doing this, you can be switching between your 15-minute and your H4, since those are the 2 time frame. So sometimes, like this lows that price broke here, maybe can give you another idea on H4 on what to do. Okay, all right, so let's see. Now look at this, you see, this another entry opportunity. I didn't even see this, our single candle. Okay, so that is another entry opportunity as price reverses back. By this time we've taken partial on all this and we are on break even, don't forget. Okay, now why am I taking this? We have full imbalance here, all these areas are mitigated. Okay, and it swept the high here. So let's see what price does here. Our entry here, and then our target, same area, and our SL just above this guy, and that is giving us 1:5. This one is giving us 1:18. Okay, so you see the one you lost here, you have made it back long ago, just by even taking your partials. So let's see if we scale in and whether we lost that trade or not. So we've scaled in, and that's a valid loss. Okay, because you met the criteria. So that is a valid loss, and this guy here also would have hit our break even. Let me see. Yeah, our break even would have been hit, and these guys, they will still be running. So let's see what price did and see if we hit target on the remaining trades. Okay, all right, good. So we've hit our target for these 2. So let's see, we lost 1, we lost 2. Okay, and then on this one we took partials. Let me see where we took the partial result. That is 1:11. That is where we took partials. That is, we closed some positions over there. Okay. Now, when I was trading this live, these were the only positions I went. I didn't scale in here. I was okay with these two positions, so I didn't encounter this loss and this loss. Okay, and I didn't get this partial with break even, but these two, I got my partials and my TP as well. All right, guys, so let me invert the chart back to its original this nankasa. Aye. Okay, so this is the main chart. Okay, this is the main chart. Like, this is the trend. Okay, this is the main trend. Is we are on what? Bearish, and then we are scaling in on what? On bullish. So as you can see, price taps, okay, tap into our supply in this case, then created the demand here. Price reverses back into it. We took our first entry. Then what did we do? We got our next entry from this single order block formation, the wick. We scaled in quickly and we held it. Then we had this zone marked, and this zone, this one failed, this one played out. We got our partials here. Then it reverses and gives us a break even on the remaining position. Then this one failed. Okay, and you can see price. So whether we are in bullish or bearish, the concept is still the same. Guys, thank you for being part of this course. All questions on the Telegram page. Okay, as you guys know, I always come to respond to your questions and your chats, so drop them. And then now that we are done with the course, I'll be doing my random explanations on certain things that you guys questions you'll be asking and all those stuff. I'll do my random videos on that, and also we'll be doing our live analysis together on some days that I'll be free, and it will as well be uploaded so that you guys can use that references for the future. I love you guys. See you again in another video. Bye bye.